put up a fence? Why don't you just put up a fence?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, that's a really simple solution, and I priced lots of different fences. It's not that expensive. They could put up a fence, and the expense could be shared with the other apartment complex on the side, because you're stopping people from trekking to them. You're stopping people from trekking over here, you know.
And that's weird, and that's funny that you said it, because my mom was here for Thanksgiving, and I'm upstairs on the third floor, and I'm looking down like, who is this guy in the back of the property with something, a clipboard and survey? She just wanted to know, the apartment complex is trying to get something done so they can keep the people all off our property. Were you guys aware of that?
No.
I sent letters to them, and I called the fence person to come out, and so I could create the documents of exactly. And they measured it, and they gave me some price quotes, but I figured it wasn't going anywhere, so I just let it ride.
Looking and want to know. I said, well, you have to, the CMA, you have to contact the person that manages it. He wants to know what can we do in the apartment complex to keep the kids and put up the bed and do that little area so we can have more happy.
What area specifically are we talking about?
Where it comes when you come out of the curve of Appaloosa Mill Circle, when you come out of the curve, they shoot across.
Right behind that same vacant lot, the whole length, all the way to the
grass growing up, that word, weeds.
That's where they cut through.
There's an apartment complex actually right
behind us. It's this apartment complex that's over here by Dayton here.
There's two apartment complexes, and we're kind of sandwiched in the middle of them.
And they just transfer.
They just cut right across.
Right.
And where would this fence come on the back?
Yeah, it would go from the swamp all the way to the end of behind Appaloosa Mill Circle.
Right.
All the way to the. It's the only way to do it, because they're cutting through in like 3 different places. So if you only put the little piece behind 1950, they're still going to come to the front, closer to the water is, right? Or they're going to go all the way back behind where the football player used to live. But you can take it from end to end there. And it was like the cheapest fence, which was just the plain silver wire one, was going to be approximately about $1,000 to do it. It was probably a little less than that. But then there was one a little higher, one that was like $3,000 was the max one. That was I have the
black one, like a black
to match the other stuff. That was a little bit higher.
I would be afraid to put a wood fence back there, because that would create a hiding spot back there for those kids.
Right.
That's all they need. Because that's when I would do my drive-bys back there and call the police, there's always somewhere that you couldn't see them. You had to get out of your car, you had to move. And I always just stood there for the police waiting for them. I said, all right, just go behind that corner, you'll see them. And sure enough, they go behind the corner.
Right.
So,
I was trying to tell them to put barbed wire, but people said that wasn't. It might hurt a little bit much, but I like put barbed wire up there. That'll stop them.
They're willing to work with the CMA. The apartment complex is willing, because they were out there with like, who do we contact? And I said, contact CMA for the reserve of Ivy Creek.
What's the name of that apartment complex?
Right.
This is the other one.
She never responded, though. I went over there in person twice. I sent her numerous emails. She never responded to me. That's what's the name of it? Yeah, I forget the name of it. This is not the book I was looking at. I can forward you the emails that I.
All right. What else we got? Parking.
Let me ask you, on the outside of the building, as far as the paint, we can paint?
Yeah, well, you have to submit, and then paint the same color, but yeah, you can paint. Your maintenance obligation is, the maintenance obligation on the building's falls to you.
Yeah, that's one, certain communities, if you read the covenant, certain communities in Georgia fall under, and this is one thing that my wife and I, when we were looking at one community that did, and just based on location and quality of the unit, we ended up here. But different communities are just based on the covenants, whether the association and the HOA covers maintenance.
Yeah.
And typically you're paying about twice as much a month for it's more like a condo. And then this community it's homeowner. The maintenance is provided by the homeowner. Insurance is provided, so you actually have to go and buy your own insurance to supply. Or if you got a mortgage, you have to buy your own insurance. It's one of the differences. Certain towns.
Usually not that way?
No, there's the one over in Swanee is that way. The one over
covers the association, but not this case.
Yeah, there's the one over off Gravel Spring is that way. The one off Old Peachtree. There's probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 townhouse communities in this general area that are all like that. Because when my wife and I were looking to buy one, we toured them all. The only ones that provide like everything, like a condo, were over by like Peachtree Industrial and Duluth, and we just decided to travel too much and just keep, well, try to
Okay,
see
now
much
that you mentioned that, the question where I'm going with this is, I deliver mail to CMA homeowners for Abbott Bridge, and for the summer, they were painting their stuff all galore, and then, CMA runs theirs too. Is that the reason, because of the way?
Because the documents.
The documents
it's
that's
saying
in
that
that.
there's a maintenance obligation at the association for those. I've got a complex called Village Grove off Swanee Dam Road, and there's 3 neighborhoods within the complex, and only one of them we have a maintenance obligation to paint the exterior. And it's the same situation. When there's money, we paint a few buildings. There are people yelling at me every other week, when are you going to do money? When are you going to do money? And the other funny thing about that is the entryways to those buildings are the responsibility of the homeowner. When we do a whole paint project, we'll paint the railing going up and the doors and stuff. But if it was any time after that or whatever, it'd be the owner's responsibility to repair that stairway or that stuff.
Now,
And he could be cited.
Is that my responsibility by my own pine straw too?
No.
Because I bought it twice, for the winter and the spring, and then here's, I gotta go buy it now, to, to put
Well,
down.
we're gonna do it, the board is gonna do it, I just haven't told you. They're gonna do it in the next couple of weeks.
Oh.
So we're gonna do an application and tighten up the whole property.
They don't have any contact. It was extremely difficult for me to find out who did the buildings, because these bricks are like custom done. They're not just your straight up brick off the street, that you can just go. So when that graffiti job happened to me and having to get it removed, it was horrible to try to find somebody who could come back and match the type of brick that I have. It was probably the worst part about the whole thing, besides having to pay for it, It was extremely difficult. I had to research all the way back to an original builder to find out where they got the brick from, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and finally found somebody who did what's called staining of those bricks to match it back up, which is also a custom job too. So, I mean, it would be nice if the CMA had that level of information, so that if we're responsible when something like that happens, I mean, if these buildings are so new, I can't understand why they didn't know the builders.
To answer your question, we don't have that level of information. That's not an association responsibility. What we're
nothing is association responsibility, though. Really, seriously.
Don't get me wrong, it would be an added benefit, but the bottom line is there's many